Lawrence James Simpson was born in July 9, 1947. Place of birth, San Francisco, California, USA. His nicknames, OJ the Juice. He was professional football player, played in the NFL from 1969 to 1979. O.J. Simpson's teams, Buffalo Bills and San Francisco 49ers. He won the prestigious Heisman Trophy in 1968, Best College Football Player, and first NFL player to rush for over 2,000 yards in a single season. His other roles, actor in Hollywood, starred in movies like the Naked Gun series, Capricorn 1, known for endorsements and commercial appearances. Nicole Brown Simpson was born in May 19, 1959, Germany. Date of death, June 12, 1994, Los Angeles, California. Age at time of death, 35. Background, born in Germany, raised in the US, known for her beauty, elegance, and charisma. Relationship with O.J. met O.J. Simpson in 1977 while working as a waitress in Beverly Hills. She was 18. Married him in 1985, they had 2 children. Filed for divorce in 1992, citing abuse and domestic violence. Murder, brutally murdered outside her home on June 12, 1994. Suffered multiple stab wounds, her throat was slashed. Her death shocked the nation and sparked the infamous trial. Ron Goldman was born July 2, 1968, Chicago, and murdered in June 12, 1994, Los Angeles. Age at time of death, 25. Career, waiter at Mezzaluna Restaurant in Brentwood. Aspiring actor and model. Remembered as kind, cheerful, and friendly by friends and family. Connection to Nicole, friends with Nicole Brown Simpson. No confirmed romantic relationship, possibly just friends. On the night of the murder, he went to Nicole's home to return her mother's lost glasses. Murder, likely caught by surprise during the attack. Believed to have tried defending Nicole, murdered alongside her in what seemed like a sudden and violent assault.
Of 875 South Bundy Drive, a neighbor noticed something strange. A white Akita dog, pacing in circles, its paws blooded, whimpering in distress. Her body drenched in blood. Just a few feet away lay another body, Ron Goldman, a young waiter and friend. Slashed, beaten, stabbed, murdered in what looked like a violent, chaotic frenzy. The detectives knew her name immediately. Nicole was the ex-wife of O.J. Simpson, football legend, actor, beloved national figure. But when they called to speak with him, there was no answer. When they went to his Rockingham estate, he wasn't there. Instead, they found blood drops leading from a white Ford Bronco, a trail that seemed to snake from the driveway to the inside of the house. A bloody glove lay on the ground, near the air conditioner behind the home. There was blood in the car, blood on the handle, and the man who owned it, O.J. Simpson, had vanished. 4 days later, as Americans sat in front of televisions, still buzzing with the news of the murders, it happened. The white Bronco appeared on the highway. It wasn't speeding, it wasn't trying to escape. It was crawling down the 405 freeway in Los Angeles, slow, methodical. Inside, Al Cowlings was at the wheel, and in the back seat, OJ holding a gun to his own head. Police followed from a distance, helicopters flew above. Every major network cut into its programming to show the surreal procession live. People pulled their cars over on overpasses to wave signs of support or scream in protest. By the time the Bronco finally returned to Rockingham, the world was watching. It was no longer just a murder case, it had become a national obsession. O.J. Simpson was arrested, charged with 2 counts of murder, and the media frenzy exploded. It was dubbed the trial of the century before it even began. As the courtroom battles commenced, the world got its first look at the defense team, a group of elite attorneys who would become household names. Johnny Cochran, the charismatic master of language. Robert Shapiro, the quiet strategist. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz, Barry Shep. They were soon labeled the Dream Team. On the prosecution side stood Marcia Clark, sharp, driven, and under enormous pressure. Her partner, Christopher Darden, brought onto the case in part because of the looming issue no one could ignore: race. Evidence piled up. The prosecution laid it all out. OJ's blood was at the crime scene. Nicole's blood was in the Bronco. Hair samples, shoe prints. A timeline that made sense. They even had the glove, a matching pair to the one found at Bundy, now discovered behind OJ's house. The DNA evidence, still new to the public, painted a damning picture. It should have been enough, but then came Detective Mark Furman. He was the one who had discovered the glove. The prosecution had relied heavily on his testimony until a tape emerged. A recording of Foreman using racial slurs, describing brutal tactics, and speaking in terms that made the courtroom freeze. When asked under oath if he had ever used the unword, Foreman pleaded the fifth. And suddenly, the conversation shifted. Johnny Cochran seized the moment. He didn't just defend his client, he attacked the system. He painted the LAPD as corrupt, racist, and eager to frame a black man. The glove, he argued, was planted, the evidence tainted. And then came the moment that changed everything, the glove demonstration. Prosecutor Darden asked Simpson to try it on. With every camera lens in the nation focused on him, O.J. stood, pulled on a pair of rubber gloves, and then attempted to slip his hands into the now iconic leather glove. He struggled, he grimaced. The glove didn't fit easily. Stiff, shriveled from drying blood, it sat awkwardly on his hand. Johnny Cochran turned to the jury and delivered a line that would echo through history. "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. On October 3, 1995, as nearly 100 million people watched, the verdict was read, not guilty. Cheers erupted in some homes, cries of disbelief in others. Nicole's family sat frozen in grief. O.J. smiled, lowered his head, and mouthed the words, "Thank you." America was divided. The evidence had pointed in one direction. The verdict went another. Was it justice? Or was it the power of fame, race, and masterful lawyering? The criminal trial ended. But the civil trial came next, and in that courtroom, a different jury found him liable for the wrongful deaths of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. They ordered him to pay $33.5 million in damages. O.J. Simpson walked free, but his legacy never recovered. He became a symbol of racial tension, celebrity justice, and the fractures running beneath the surface of American life. And though the trial ended in 1995, its echoes never really faded. They still whisper today, whenever the country wrestles with the question, what does justice truly mean?